بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم
نحمده ونصلي على رسوله الكريم أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. So I was thinking that Alhamdulillah, the class size we have is quite large, and I felt that I kind of ran out of time on Saturday, and this concept requires more time. So I decided to do a quick, maybe 10-15 minutes recap or review video so that before the next class, all of you have a better understanding of what we covered, and basically it will be a good review. So just to be very fast and quick and not taking too much of your time, what we learned in the last session is specifically we talked about the fail. Fail is the part of speech of Arabic language. We know we have ism and harf, but our focus in this course is fail. Now, when I said, let's talk about fail, I meant that a fail is an equivalent to a verb in the English language, and verbs mean action, something to do. Now, when we also think about fail, there are four things we should bring in our minds. That, for example, that whenever we think about a fail, we should think about pronouns, and we should think about conjugation, and we should think about the root letters, and we should think about the verb form, which is the patrons. So for if I give it a number, 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I told you that for number 3, every single word, whether it is a noun or a verb in Arabic language, is composed of 3 letters. Okay. And to understand number 4, I said that verb forms or verb forms are in the form of patrons. And the pattern we are going to learn right now, the pattern number 1, which is fa'ala. So these two things are dealing with this, that every word in Arabic, whether it's a noun or a verb, is made up of 3 root letters. And the pattern we are learning right now is the fa'ala. Now, pronouns, we know that those are the huwa, huma, hum. Let me quickly show you that chart. Huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. And that is the third person. And you can see the top line is the masculine and the bottom line is the feminine. And we also know that we have the singular, pair, and plural. Another name for pair is dual. Okay. So huwa, huma, hum. Hiya, huma, hunna. Anta, antuma, antum. Anti, antuma, antunna, ana, nahnu. I have included this chart in the very first email I sent you, where I sent you all the material. So I would recommend that you guys get a printout of this chart so that whenever we are talking about these, it is in front of you. The other thing, let's go back to the camera. Then, so those are the 14 pronouns. Okay, that's the thing we talked about. Then we said, what is the conjugation? For conjugation, we said the verb, when it gets attached with the pronoun, that is a conjugated verb. Okay, that means we have for one pattern at least 14 different variations, one for each pronoun. Okay, now in order to explain that, I also told you that the verbs have a tense, meaning they are either in the past tense or they're in the present or future tense. In Arabic, there are only 2 tenses or 2 categories, Madi and Mudari. Madi deals with past tense, Mudari, present, and future. We are not dealing with Mudari right now, so we'll only focus on the Madi. Madi is known as perfect tense. So for that, in order to explain to you the root words and the patterns, I gave you this chart. I said, fa'ala, there are 3 root letters, fa, ain, lam, and there are 3 harakas, fatha, fatha, fatha. So, fa is known as fa kalima or fa letter. Ain is known as ain kalima or ain letter. Lam is known as lam kalima or lam letter. So, if I give you another verb and I said fataha, which is on the same pattern as fa'ala, the meaning of fataha is to open. And then we identify the 3 root letters, fataha, and then we match it with the pattern. So we place the fa under the fa, the ta under the ain, and the ha under the lam, and then we use the same haraka, fatha, fatha, fatha. On the same pattern, there is another verb called nasara. When you say nasara, that means to help, and noon, sa, ra, and we matched same way. So this concept by itself is very important, that how you should know that if the root letters are given, a pattern is given, then you should be able to map them. So fataha like this, nasara, noon, sa, ra, kafara, ka, fa, ra, abada, ain, ba, da. So this is what we talked about. Now, we also talked about that whenever we talk about an action, there has to be somebody who's doing the action. And that doer is known as doer. In Arabic is known as fa'il. Fa'il means the person or the thing who is doing the action. So with that, we have to understand that how do we take one pattern and make the 14 different combinations when we include them with the noun. So before I get to that, let me give you another way to explain these things in a different format, and then I'll come back to this chart. So if you look at this, I told you about, let's go back to over here. Okay. So fail madi, the past tense verb, al-failul madi. A fail is a verb, is an action. The doer is the subject. Another name for doer is subject. And in Arabic, we call it fa'ilun. So the base form of all Arabic verbs is in the past tense. That's why we are learning the past tense. The base form of the verbs always correspond to the third person singular masculine pronoun, which is huwa. Meaning of huwa is he. The doer of the action, the fa'il, is hidden within the base forms of the verb. So when we see kharaja, what do we know? That huwa is hidden in the kharaja. That's why we do the translation, he left. Now the word mustatar is the Arabic word for hidden. If I say mustatar in your mind, that means I'm talking about a hidden. So a pronoun is hidden. The very first basic default form of the Madi has the huwa in it. Okay. Now the next page, you can see almost all Arabic verbs can be tracked or traced back to a 3-letter verb. The remaining few exceptions are traced to a 4-letter verb, but since 99 point some point is all 3-letter verbs, so we will learn the 4-letter verbs a little bit later in the course. We don't need to focus on them right now. So the 3-letter words, and to understand the structure, the 3-letter verbs are defined on the pattern of fa'ala as follow. So fa'ala, fa, ain, lam, those are our root letters. If I take the verb kharaja, then I put the kha under the fa because this is in the position of fa letter. Ra is in the position of the ain letter, and ja or jim is under the position of lam letter. That's why they're known as fa kalima, ain kalima, and lam kalima. So this slide should help you understand better what I'm talking about. So similarly, I want you to focus on the first three words. Zahaba, jalasa, nasara. The reason I don't want to talk about samia, karuma, because they are different patterns which we have not covered yet. We are talking about zahaba, which is the same as fa'ala. Jalasa, because they are on the same pattern of fa'ala. Nasara, same pattern as fa'ala. So zahaba mean he went. Jalasa mean he sat. Nasara mean he helped. Why are we translating he went? Because this is the very first form, and we know that huwa is hidden in it. So what is the fa kalima? Zal. Ain, ha. Lam kalima is ba. In the jalasa, the fa kalima is jim. Ain kalima is lam. And lam kalima is sin. Nasara, noon, sad, ra. In this base form, for all three letter past tense verb, we have fa kalima and the so there is. Let's not talk about this right now. We'll come back to this in the class. Okay, so now the important thing is, how do we conjugate a past tense verb? So we know that when we say kharaja, we know that huwa is present in there. And this is the third person masculine singular. Okay, so kharaja, huwa, and kharaja as two, homa. And from the homa, we only take the alif. Okay, and for the plural, we say kharaja become kharaju, and that is hum, and then there is a waw. In order to explain this better, let me show you this picture. Okay, and I'm going to take the example of nasara. So when I say nasara, the translation is he helped. Let me see if I can make it bigger so that you guys can see it better. So we don't say huwa nasara, but we assume that it is hidden in the nasara. So that's why huwa here is written in light ink to just show you that huwa is there, but it's not visible. And that is why we say the huwa is mustatar. It is hidden. Hidden in what? Nasara. When we say nasara, basically we know that there is huma there. But the huma is replaced by just an alif. So we don't say huma nasara, we just say nasara. And when we take the nasaru, we know that hum is there, but we don't include the whole thing. We only take the waw and the alif. Okay, so here become nasarat. Huma become nasarata for the feminine. Hunna become nasarna. Okay, anta become nasarta. Antuma become nasartuma. Antum become nasartum. So the tuma and tum is quite easy because we are taking the ending, tuma and tum, right? In the anta, we are taking we are putting the ta with the fatha. So this is pretty simple here because we just took the ending, the ta from here, and tuma from here, and tum from here. So that is, and now if you're wondering, how do I remember this? How do I know this? This is what we are learning, because these are the rules of grammar which we have to understand first and then memorize and then practice. So every Arabic student in the world who is trying to master the Arabic language, they have to make a table like this where they have to know these 40 variations by their heart and mind. If they don't know this, the teacher will not let them go to the next subject. But I'm not that difficult. I'm trying to make it easy for all of us. So we will work on it together. But please keep this thing in mind that if you really want to progress, you must understand this first and then practice enough so that you can do this in your mind, okay, instead of doing it on a piece of paper. But in the beginning, we will do it on the piece of paper, but then inshallah, we will be doing it in our mind. So anti, easy, it just took the ta with the kasra. Tuma is the same, and nasartunna, from antunna, we just took the tunna part. Okay. Ana is nasartu. Nahnu nasarna. So we just took the noon and the alif. So inshallah, this is a pattern for fa'ala. Once you know this pattern, as soon as I give you a different pattern, these 14 variations will stay the same. Only the haraka will change, and you will see it in the future lessons. So without any taking much of your time, let me go back to this this here. So kharaja is same thing. Kharaja huwa, kharaja huma, kharaju hum. And for the female, kharajat. So here become the ta sakina. Huma become kharajata. Hunna become kharajna. Okay, so you can see there is a, and when you have a something at the end is called a suffix. So inshallah, I'll be sharing this slide with you later on. You can read it more. Just to save time, I'm trying to show you different variations. So look at this. This is another way of looking at the chart. So we know that huwa is the singular, huma is the dual, and hum is the plural. So he, they, two, they, more than two. So what happened? Huwa is mustatar. When we say kharaja, we know that huwa is hidden in there. When we say huma, we take the alif with the sakina. When we take the hum, we take the waw and alif, and we say kharaja. Why there is an alif here? I'll explain to you in a second. Here, then we take ta sakina and it's mustatar. So kharajat, here is present in there. Huma, we take the ta sakina and alif. So kharajata, they two left. Hunna, noon, and noon, you know, so this is the file, which is the suffix. You can see kharajna. Anta, kharajta. Antuma, kharajtuma. Antum, kharajtum. Anti, kharajti, kharajtuma, kharajtunna. Kharajtu, kharajna. So alhamdulillah, I hope that this should give you a good idea. So let's do an example ourselves. Forget about the what do you call Samia and Karuma. Let's just look at kharaja and zahaba. So without doing much of the thinking about these, let's say kharaja, kharaja, kharaju, kharajat, kharajata, kharajna, kharajta, kharajtuma, kharajtum, kharajti, kharajtuma, kharajtunna, kharajat, kharajtu, kharajna. Yeah. So what is happening here? We're just taking the same pattern and just replacing the kha with the fa, ra with the ain, and jim with the lam. So remember I said we have to learn this game where we have to do substitution. So in this kharaja, kha or the letter kha is the fa letter, ra is the ain letter, and jim is the lam letter. So as soon as I give you a word, your 14 variations will stay the same. All you have to do is substitute the new root letters in the place of the fa letter, ain letter, and the lam letter. Look at the zahaba example. We have zal as the fa letter, ha as the ain letter, ba as the lam letter. So we will become zahaba, zahaba, zahabu, zahabat, zahabata, zahabna, zahabta, zahabtuma, zahabtum, zahabti, zahabtuma, zahabtunna, zahabtu, zahabna. So inshallah, I hope and I believe that this should give you a very good idea. And inshallah, when we have the next class, we are going to talk about it again. But I appeal and I request all of you that if you really want to capture or grasp the concept, please go ahead and review it and repeat it on a piece of paper. Just put the thoughts on a piece of paper that what did I learn? I am learning, for example, that I'm learning a fail. And what do I need to learn about the fail for? What is the purpose? And what are the 4 different things I should pay attention to? Pronouns, because every fail is going to require a pronoun. I need to learn how to do conjugation with the pronouns. So that is very important exercise. I cannot leave this alone. These 2 things has to be very important. The root letters will be provided to me. the pattern will be provided to me. I need to take the root letters and the pattern, and then I need to conjugate with the pronouns. So that is how I want your brain to work. Okay, so inshallah, you can see we did the same exercise together and since I wrote it down, and that's why I can understand this very well, because writing makes you perfect. Writing or practice makes you remember the thing. So inshallah, with this, I think I should let you go. Please watch this quick video several times if you have to. And then inshallah, we will talk more. And what else? Okay, so for now, this is it. Let me see if I can show you something else. There was one more thing I wanted to talk about. Okay, so I said I will tell you why there is an alif after the waw. So the alif is called aliful vikaya, the alif of protection. It protects the waw from being mistaken for the conjunction. What is conjunction waw? The meaning of waw in Arabic is and. So in order to differentiate it from the and, the extra alif is attached when we are doing the conjugation. Okay. So inshallah, we will talk more about this. Jazakallahu khairan. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Subhanakallahumma wa bihamdika wa nashhadu la ilaha illa anta nastaghfiruka wa natubu ilayk.